get started. As Buddy said, we've got a couple of other people that may be joining us in a few minutes, but I'm Pam Keechler. I'm the Executive Director at PACE Incorporated, and I'm very excited to have you all here. Thank you all for being here today. We are really excited about this partnership with Old Bedford Village. And so we wanted to sort of announce the grant, talk to folks about sort of what we're working on, where we're headed, and what we're hoping to accomplish as we move down the pike with this proposal. So we have been fortunate in partnership with Old Bedford Village to receive a planning grant through the Mass CEC to provide training and opportunities within the wind industry, and to do it to really try to provide some opportunities for historically marginalized and vulnerable populations inside our city, and really provides a chance for folks to have pathways to a variety of positions. What we're looking to do with this grant is really solve the problem of how to connect the substantial workforce that we have and the economic the workforce opportunities that are offered by the wind development with the local people who really need those opportunities the most. And so with the history of both Old Bedford Village and PACE of working with folks who are challenged to find a way into those types of careers, we put our heads together and thought that we could really, in sort of bringing together folks working in the industry, figure out ways that we could provide a level of pre-training support that could help people then move into many of the training opportunities that are traditionally being offered for the industry. So it's a little bit non-traditional, a little bit sort of outside the box, and it's really intended to try to provide a chance for folks to get some needed support that would really try to break down some barriers for them, so that as they're moving into potential certifications and then moving into working with some of the companies, they will have some wraparound support along the way to try to ensure that the career success, and to provide the folks who are looking for the workforce a really positive experience in reaching deeply into our community and giving them a chance to create career pathways that wouldn't have maybe otherwise been possible for folks. So with that, I'm going to turn the floor over to Buddy Andrade, who's the Executive Director at Old Bedford Village and my partner in this effort. And we, like I said, we're really thrilled to be working with Buddy. We're really excited about some of the kind of cool things I think we're going to do to try to help make this this really move in a direction that will give folks some really nice opportunities. So,
thank you, Pam. Thank you, Pam. And Youth Bill guys, thank you. I always do that. I have to recognize these young folk because it's part of what we're about. Anyway, Old Bedford Village has been involved with two other grants through the Massachusetts Clean Energy Center. Back in 2019, we participated in supporting the power drivers and getting their grant. And at that meeting where they announced their grant, they also announced that they took 2 individuals from the city of New Bedford into the power drivers union. One member is still in the union, and he's been a very remarkable individual for us, representing our area as a person that's in the union and a worker. And the second grant has been with the Bristol Community College, where we established a WindWorks campaign to get individuals into the NAUI school at Bristol Community College. This is a very, very important time. Brand new industry. No one really knows what we're doing or going to be doing or how to do it because it's new. But we have assembled individuals that can help us do that. And what we want to do with this grant is put together a prep school academy, an institution that's going to prepare all of our residents in the greater New Bedford area. And when you talk about PACE and Old Bedford Village, you're talking about community. You're talking about grassroots, you're talking about people in poverty, whether it's housing, whether it's jobs, whether it's the opioid issue, other health issues. All of this PACE addresses. Old Bedford Village addresses, bringing us together to make an economic impact in our communities, in our neighborhoods, is very, very crucial. And particularly with this brand new industry called offshore wind. And right down the street, we have 2 sites here for the Commerce Terminal and the Foss Terminal. And down in Somerset is another large terminal with Mayflower. So we had Vineyard Wind 1 and Mayflower. And so all of this activity can bring about some career-changing jobs and changes for our neighborhoods by getting this type of economic impact in our communities. And with that, I am going to bring on the next person, Mr. Baptiste.
Boy, that was right away, huh, buddy?
Well, on time.
Yeah, we're on time. We're not on CV time today. First of all, I'd like to thank Buddy and his staff at Old Bedford Village and the staff at Pace for always being on the forefront of what we need in this city for people that get looked over a lot. I think that we have a lot of services in a lot of places, including our schools, that don't service the people that Buddy, has the ability to service, and Pace has been at the forefront of a lot of this, a lot of these opportunities for these individuals. And I think that this will be major for the young people like we have in here today, because it's about them. It's about not only them, their friends, and the community that they come from and their neighborhoods. I think that this opportunity brings light to not just the people that have access to all these programs, but for the people that don't understand the access to these programs and don't understand how important this industry is going to be in this city, and not only to have jobs, but to have careers. And I think that you guys are allowing people opportunities to have careers where they're not thinking about being career-based, where they're thinking about job to job, because a lot of people have the tendency to overlook that population. We're lucky enough to have, youth build in here who hasn't overlooked that population. I work with Eli Zett daily at Mass Hyatt who don't overlook that population. And, I've had the luxury of working with Pace in the past that's helped me build my programs to the point where I'm at this position right now. And I think you guys a whole bunch. And like I said, Buddy has been fighting for people as long as I've lived. I've known Buddy. so as long as I've known, as long as I've been able to know Buddy, Buddy knew me before I knew myself. As long as I've known that, he's been a crusader in our community for the people. And I think that it's good that we bring all of y'all to the table so that you can understand the importance to help my community, where I come from, the houses that I come from, the family that I come from, the friends that I have. I take it personal when you do things like this, because I'm one of these kids. I'm one of these people that needed this at that time. So thank you. No, I'm one of them. So, I happen to get here because of people like him and, my mentors in my community that allowed me to go the right path. And I think that all these young people, I hope that I can be a light for these young people as well, and be a help for Buddy and Pace during this time, so that we can all work together to help kids that I look at like family, and a city that I call home. So I'm not going to be long-winded, but I just want to say thank you for all that you do. This is much needed. I hope that after these trainings get done, they're not getting overlooked in the workforce. Because it's one thing to get training, and it's another thing to put people on jobs and make sure that they're working on the path for their futures, so that they can be in the forefront for the next generation behind them that looks like them, that comes from where they come from. You understand? So thank you, Buddy. Thank you, everybody involved. And I can't wait to be a part of everything that you have going on. So have a good afternoon. God bless you all.
Thank you, Councilor. Ward 4 Councilor Derek Baptiste. Now I'd like to ask Ms. Eliza Perry, Assistant Manager for the Mass Higher Greater New Bedford Career Center.
Good morning, everyone. I've had the pleasure of working with Buddy for quite some time, and much like Derek, I kind of grew up in the system. So although I no longer live in New Bedford holds a special part of my heart. There's so much going on in our community, and there's so much as far as our youth just reaching out and in need of assistance. They're looking for guidance, they're looking for mentors, and that's what I love about the collaboration that I kind of see going on here. Different programs coming and offering their, their time, their energy, and really wrapping their arms around the youth population. We currently work with Youth Build, and I have to say, every time they come into the building to do a training through, with Michelle Paul, the stewardship, what is that? Environmental stewardship program. My eyes light up because they come in with such energy and they come in with such enthusiasm. And that's really what we're here to do. Mass Higher Greater New Bedford Career Center has been collaborating with different organizations. We've been collaborating with different vendors to see how we can put this all together. This is all new for us. So as a community, we're trying to wrap our arms around this. As Lisa once said at Melissa once said at a meeting, everybody keeps hearing wind, 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 wind. When's it coming? Okay? So we're trying to wrap our hands around this and identify who are the employers, what type of trainings they're going to need, and that's where the Career Center comes into play. Looking at the different training programs that they're going to need to be successful in these fields. So how do we do that? What are the employers looking for? We had an industry briefing with BCC earlier this month, and we're going to have another one, just to talk about the careers and how we can all work together to try to bridge those gaps. Identify what skill sets our community is going to need in order to be at the forefront to get these jobs. Because time and time again, we hear about different programs coming into the city, different organizations, and our customers are not one getting the jobs. They're coming from out of town. Right now, we're running a welding program. I found out that they were busing people in to work at our pier as welders. How can that be? You're busing people in to work in our backyard. We have to build the structure. We have to build the workforce in order to help our community thrive. Okay. So that's basically what the Career Center is here to do, try to bridge the gap with the employers and the job seekers and work together with our community partners to make that happen. Thank you.
Collaboration. Thank you, Eliza. Right here. I'm looking for where to go next. Well, very important part of this is the training and how to get the jobs and all that. And we have a gentleman here who's been here before, and I'm pleased that he's here again, Mr. John Denerell from the Power Drivers Union.
Good morning. First off, I'd like to thank Buddy, Youth Build, New Bedford Ocean Cluster, Mass Hire. This grant is huge. This is going to really put us in the right direction to get the right people in the right spots. As she mentioned earlier, offshore wind has been this dangling carrot that's just been in front of us for 20-some odd years, and it's here. It's actually happening. Right now, pile drivers have been offshore working in every aspect of Vineyard Wind from this point forward. So we've done the directional drilling. We've sent people out on the surveys. We've sent people out on the export cables, the boulder removal, the grapple run. And right now, I have a meeting tomorrow with Demi. We're getting ready to put the workforce together for the monopiles, which is going to be the majority of our work. So with this coming up, we also have Revolution Wind, Mayflower Wind, Commonwealth Wind, if that even happens. We have to build this workforce. And reaching out to the community and Youth Build and these type of organizations is what's going to help us build that workforce for the future. We're going to need the people. The jobs are going to be there. It's here. It's happening. We just had a female pile driver, first one, work on South Fork Wind. That's huge. That's a commercial wind project. Having a female out there for the first time ever is huge. I think working with PACE, Youth Build, Ocean Cluster, we have a really good opportunity to get a really good workforce that's going to be up. And this workforce is not only going to bring good paying union jobs, this is also a career opportunity to work up and down the East Coast and have these jobs going there. I appreciate having me here. I look forward to working with you guys. I think this is really great. This is in the right direction where we need to be moving and getting everybody going. These jobs are there for you guys. This is your future. You have to put the time in it. And, you know, like I said, we're talking the next 20 to 25 years of work here offshore. Thank you.
Union jobs. Union jobs mean union wages and benefits, and that's how you're able to take care of your family and grow. And so this is a real good opportunity. Our next guest is a gentleman by the name of Dave Doyle, and they are looking for people now.
Appreciate you. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, as Buddy said, I'm David Doyle. I'm from Thayer Mahan. We're actually located in Groton, Connecticut. We were formed by a bunch of former submariners that, and kind of backed into this industry a bit. We are acoustic awareness of the oceans is what we do. For years and years and years, we used to have to filter out all the maritime traffic, or excuse me, filter out all maritime and biological, snapping shrimp and whales and all that to hunt for submarines. Well, now we're using the exact same gear to filter out all the marine traffic and track whales and understand where they are, why they are, their patterns of life, so the construction efforts don't interfere with the whales. That's where we started. Well, we were at some meetings, and this company called Ørsted was at the meeting, and was like, "What are you doing?" So then we found out about how these synergies of all the things we did for the oceans, our stewardship of the ocean, how we could support the offshore wind industry. So flash forward now, we're going to be doing noise mitigation. So the construction projects, when they do the monopiles, it makes a very big sound that goes into the ocean. The bubble curtains knock the sound down. So that's what we're going to be doing, right? But I can tell you right now, we're going to be doing work with jobs that have never been in America. And I'd like to lead just like, you guys are going to be doing a job 3 years from now that we don't even know exists yet. So it's kind of a weird thing where we need to train people with basic skills, of how to, just the basic skills of being a good worker, good teammate, good, a good steward of the ocean, steward of the workforce, a good shipmate if you're offshore. But I'm excited for you guys because you're going to do a job that doesn't even exist now, and we don't even know what it is. And it's going to be a generational change. There's going to be so many jobs. This is going to be a generational change, I believe, to your community. We're fully on board with supporting the community. We're partnering with Andrew and over at Foss Terminal for a space. Our bubble curtain operations. We hope to be doing all that work. Who knows what happens in the future? But New Bedford's going to be our hub for the entire East Coast. Okay, so when we do work off of the coast of Virginia, that ship is going to come to New Bedford, put all its kit on it. We're going to mobilize out of New Bedford, and we're driving to Virginia. So we are committed to New Bedford and committed to this community, and we want you all to work for us. So again, I don't know what you're going to do yet, but we need people, and we need people that are really motivated, trained. We're gonna work with the union the pile drivers. Sorry, I was a pipe fitter in a former life. The pile drivers union, we're going to put their feet to the fire to hire you, right? We're going to be asking for you. And first question I'm going to ask when we request people is, are they from New Bedford? Okay, to your point, all right? So again, my name's Dave Doyle. I appreciate being here. I'm fully supportive. I'm from a small town in Rhode Island. So I quit college when I was 18. And when I came home at Christmas time and told my dad I quit college, he said, "Where are you going to live tomorrow?" The deal in our household is if you go to college, you can stay in my house. I joined the Navy the next day. Take care.
A gentleman that I've been a partner with and in the trenches with the whole 9 yards, and has got more history than you can think of. I just interviewed a couple guys from his office, from Packer. Again, this is an opportunity for everyone, all over the city, all over our area. And that includes those who have had issues with opioids. That includes those who are just coming home from jail and had those kinds of problems. I believe in the Second Chance Act. I believe that individuals need that extra support to go ahead and achieve their goals and taking care of their families and things of that nature. So that's very, very important. But it takes a lot of people to make this stuff happen. And as you heard Dave said, we don't even know what the hell's going on yet. There's so much of it. And we're talking billions and trillions of dollars over the next 30 years. And so there's a lot of opportunity available. I'd like to bring Carl Allis up, please.
Thanks. Just briefly, I don't know why. I'm just a partner here, but grateful to be small part of this partnership. Looking at Lucem de Fundo, I didn't study Latin, so I don't know if I pronounced that right, but it's lighting the way. And it was about, whale oil and lighting. This is, 2023, and the world is changing, and I'm glad that we're all part of it. Rising tide lifts all boats, but we need to make sure, and that's why I'm really glad that you're reaching out to parts of the community that maybe might miss some of this, because unfortunately there's a learned helplessness that comes along with some of the challenges that some of the folks face in our community. And so it's really important that if we are going to light the way, that we light the way for all people, and that give people an opportunity to participate in the greatness that this city has. And sometimes it's easy to forget, but I'm grateful that this project is including that. So thank you.
Now, former Mayor Bullard from the New Bedford Ocean Cluster. I missed Andrew. I'm sorry. I'll come back, Andrew. I'll get you. I don't know how I did that, but don't worry. We got you. You ain't going nowhere.
Thanks, buddy.
One of the important guys.
Thank you, buddy. It's a pleasure to be in this room, which was my office when I was mayor. That's why my desk was right here. So it's very nice to be invited back, and it's interesting, this confluence between what's new and what's old, as Carl said, because of course when in the days of whaling we were in the energy business, right? And if you look at pictures, go down to the Whaling Museum of the whale ships, and look at the color of the faces that made New Bedford such a great city, you'll see that there was a lot of diversity on those ships. A lot of Cape Verdeans on those ships made our city great. And so we have a heritage of local people working in difficult circumstances in an unforgiving environment, harvesting energy. And so we know how to do it. And this is an old industry, energy, but it's new. And when I was talking to the former head of Vineyard Wind, he said, these turbines are going to be built. The question is, who's going to build them? And that's why we're here, to answer that question. Who's going to build them? And when I started working in New Bedford in the 70s, this guy, I met him. He was doing recruitment training program. So while this industry is new, recruitment and training is not new to this guy. He's been doing it longer than anyone, longer than he wants to think about, I believe. But it's not new to Buddy, and it's not new to PACE, because PACE has been a great organization for a long time as well. So you put Old Bedford Village together with PACE, and you have two powerhouses in partnership to answer that question that Lars asked, who's going to fill these jobs? And that is the mission of the New Bedford Ocean Cluster. Who's going to do that job? Because some of these jobs are technical. You can't just walk up and be a pile driver. It takes training. It takes industriousness. It takes hard work. And so that's training. But as several people have said, this isn't just a one-week job. This is a career. This is going to have the impact that whaling had on this city. This is going to have the impact that textiles had on this city. This is going to move this city for generations. And so as you think about the opportunity here, as young people think about what do I want for a career, you decide on something new like offshore wind, and you decide to apply yourself and get the skills necessary for this, whatever aspect of offshore wind it might be, then you're writing a ticket for a career that, like Morse Twist Drill, is not just a career for you, it's a career that can get passed down from one generation to the other. That's the impact this is going to have. So it's an exciting time, and I am so pleased that Buddy, who's been badgering me for 40 years or more. That's why the mayor moved up to the 4th floor, to get away from this guy. I'm so happy to be part of this. You're the man.
Before I bring Andrew on, I'm going to bring the Executive Director of New Bedford Ocean Cluster, Ms. Jen Downing. Then we'll get Andrew.
Thank you, Buddy and Pam and everyone at Youth Build. I'm Jen Downing. I'm the Executive Director of the New Bedford Ocean Cluster. I work very closely with John. I take his orders. But I'll be brief, but we're a newly established nonprofit. We got started about a year ago, and we've been working really hard over the last year to try to understand what offshore wind top-tier suppliers and employers are going to need by way of both supply chain and workforce. And so it might seem like a lot of us are doing a lot of the same things, but that's going to be necessary because this industry, as Buddy pointed out, is so big. It's enormous, and there's so many opportunities. So there can't be enough of us working together to try to understand the opportunities so that as much of the economic opportunity that is on the horizon will remain in this community. And so, Buddy, I look forward to working with you more closely and collaborating with you and PACE and Youth Build so we can make this happen for New Bedford. And I'm very hopeful, so thank you.
Well, our new partner in the community from Foss Terminal, Mr. Andrew Saunders.
Hi, everybody. I'm Andrew Saunders, and Buddy described me as a new partner in the community, but I was born in New Bedford 59 years ago. I lived in New Bedford probably 25 years. I moved out of town to go to Boston when I was studying, and then I moved back down. I now live in Fairhaven. My daughter and Pam's son went to school together, so I'm from the community. But I am the president of New Bedford Foss Marine Terminal, and what we're doing is we're putting together what I'll call a marine laydown yard. Because the work will all be done 40 miles offshore, but you can't get 40 miles offshore unless you go across a bulkhead that's been prepared a certain way that's able to accept people. So that, in essence, that's what we're doing, and we will complement the facility that the state has built down the street called the Marine Commerce Terminal. But when I'm standing here today, I've heard the word career used 3 times, and it's not overused. You do have the opportunity to get a career. It's not just a job, because a wind turbine itself, if you think about it in its purest sense, it is an unmanned power plant, and it's 40 miles offshore. And they will, they'll monitor that from the shore and understand when they need to go out and fix it. And when they do, they need to dispatch someone from shore to that unmanned power plant. Those will be the workers from New Bedford, because they will come from New Bedford, because we are the closest industrial port to all of those turbines, okay? So the power may go to New York, the power may go to Connecticut, but the human beings will come out of New Bedford, in my opinion. But to think about, there's 2 different types of work, okay? There's the land-based work, and then there's the offshore work, all right? The land-based work also has 2 different types. It's the construction stuff. And the Port of New Bedford will undergo a huge amount of construction, not just at my facility, but we're using the pile drivers to drive the piles when we build our new bulkhead. We're using John's labor. Our marine general contractor is a signatory to his union, and they've been using him for a long, long time. I do know that their union also works offshore doing diving work, but he described it all. So this is a career, but don't lose sight of the fact that there's also the opportunity to be an entrepreneur. You don't necessarily have to work for someone in a career. You can start your own business, all right, because that will happen also. But you need to have the training. I'll close by saying this. The way I got to, I've known Buddy now for about 9 months, and I'm helping them, help Buddy and Pam trying to navigate through the system, because I understand what the business is. But Dave reached out to me at one point in time and said, you need to speak to Buddy. There are companies in Denmark that call me. They're looking for 6 people. You need to, there needs to be a clearinghouse, and this is what Buddy and Pam and Pace are going to try to do, and the Ocean Cluster also. Try to put together a clearinghouse of job opportunities, but also then bolt on the training aspect of it, because it is coming. It's actually here. You may not appreciate it, but it's here. You will start to see a very large crane being built down at the Marine Commerce Terminal, probably during the month of March. Thank you.
You know, this is going to be a very mobile industry. You'll be going to New York, you might be going here, you might be going there, because once you become part of these companies, you're part of the companies, and wherever they go, you'll be going. And that's why the career is so important, because you become a company man or woman, and that's what's so important about it. Lisa. Oh my God, I lost where I was at. Lisa is the executive director of the Youth Build program, one of my favorite programs in the world.
Thank you, Buddy. I just want to say that basically Youth Build's role in this is to create job workers. So the workforce development piece is the piece that we handle. You know, creating, showing up on time, making the job, calling in when you're out, and stuff like that. So we create workers for the workforce. So them soft skills, all those things that people don't realize are so important, that's what we are focusing on at Youth Build. And then they'll go off and do the other trainings. But it's the job development, those pieces, that workforce piece is the most important of anything else that we do. So that's why it's so important to be a part of this, and I thank Buddy for having us be a part of it too. But we are creating the workforce for the future. And at Youth Build, we say that a job is just over broke, and we are creating our young people for careers. So that's what we do.
We have been fortunate to already have youngsters from the Youth Build program go through the EPA Workforce Development Grant that we have. Most of these individuals have gone, all of them have the OSHA 40, OSHA 30, de-leading or asbestos, forklifting, hoisting. These are the different classes that we have provided. There's a class going on right now at the sewer treatment plant on forklifting. And so we're consistently doing this, and we always make sure that we call Youthville. What do you got?
Kids in the forklift class today.
So, and I've interviewed already one individual from the class, that's part of Youthville, for the bubble work. And we're hoping this individual will be able, and we got about 4 more from that class that we'll be interviewing. So I want to take what we just talked about here. This is a collaboration. This is everybody putting in their little pieces into this pie so that we can create this training process that's going to be making people ready to go to work, ready to do the right thing for themselves, their families, and the neighborhoods, and to help make the economic impact that we're talking about in these communities. So this particular meeting today was to kind of like get that out there, bring people together, hear some of the stuff that we're talking about. Now, between now and February 1st, when we have our briefing, we'll be contacting some of you folks, meeting with other people, following up on what we talked about today, putting things together that would outline us and what our grant might look like. And then on February 1st, we're going to talk about those things, talk about what we talked about here. This meeting will be at Fort Tabor from 6 to 8 o'clock on February 1st. And then from there, we'll be able to get to the nitty-gritty of actually running the grant and getting things ready for where we need to be to get this grant. Now, what does this mean? This means that if we put together Pace and Old Bedford Village and all of our partners, everybody here is a partner. Everybody here has got a 2 cents that we want to hear. We want your advice. We want your whatever you have, we want it. If we're successful with the Mass Clean Energy Center, we will be able to get anywhere from a $750,000 to $1.3 million grant to prepare New Bedford area residents for these jobs that everybody's talking about, and especially the ones that we don't know about yet. And that's not a bad thing what I'm saying. We just don't know because we don't know. It's brand new. And as these companies go, they will build and develop other positions, other things they have to go, and they'll say, buddy, we need you guys to train some more for this. Or Eliza, what's the Mass Hire doing? We need that, we need this. And youth, where's those kids? Everybody working to make this thing happen is what's going to make us see the growth of New Bedford inclusively of every one of our neighborhoods of poverty in our surrounding towns. And I have a young lady here that I met with yesterday for the first time from Fairhaven, and she is definitely going to be one here. I can tell you that. But I just saw Councilor Gomes came in. I'm going to give Councilor Gomes the last word, and I thank everybody for coming and participating. You have our phone numbers. Call us, email us. Buddy, I don't like what you said. Or buddy, change it. Go to the left. Make it pink instead of red. Whatever. We have got to collaborate and put this thing together. So it's very important that don't hesitate. You're not going to make me mad. Trust me. You're going to make me happy. You're going to make me happy. Why? Because we're going to bring the money home to New Bedford to get our people ready for these companies. The union guys are waiting for us. The Foss Terminal is waiting for us. Dave Doyle is waiting for us. What are we going to do? Mr.
Can I just say one thing? In your presentation?
Sure.
You have to stop saying if, it's when.
We will.
Absolutely no if.
We are an American. We are Americans. We don't believe in we can. We can.
We will.
I'd like to ask Councilor Gomes come up and we will ask you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry I'm late, but due to my work schedule, and I thought this was a start at 11:30, but it was 11 o'clock. So I'm running on that Cape Verdean time. I think I've heard about that before.
We talked about that earlier.
Well, I'll use it when I'm in trouble, and I'm in trouble this morning, about half an hour late. Thank you all for being here. I'm just here to show the support to this grant that has been given to the city and what is about to transpire in the city. It's a very an opening eye for everyone. This is just the start of something I think that's going to be really great for the city. Buddy continues to do his work, even though at times it's really tough. I'm sure many of you have heard about that. I received the phone calls, and it's stern and to the point, and we got to get this done, and I need your support. So I made sure that I was here this morning, only thing running on Cape Verdean time, so I'm about half an hour late. Thank you for being here, and I'm here just to show the support, as I'm sure my colleague was this morning, for the venture that's about to take place in the city of New Bedford, and thank all of you for being involved.
One consistent thing I've heard here today is what Buddy did or Buddy didn't do, okay? Well, let me tell you something. Andrew's an attestment to it. We had our first meeting, didn't last long. We've had so many meetings since then, because even though I may do what I do, I still love you. I still want to work with you. Councilor Baptiste, he knows what I'm talking about. This is what this is about. I mean, if we get angry or disagree and not man enough and woman enough to continue to do the work of the people, like the council would always say in the council chambers, the work of the people, then what are we doing here? And sometimes we have to argue and fight. Sometimes we have to push those buttons. But the best thing about it is that when we come back and sit down and take our jackets off and go to work for the people of the community. And that's what we're here to do. This grant is that important, that important. Thank you for coming. Thank you. And that is the end of our program, and I want to thank everybody for coming. Please take pictures, and so we can have all this because we want to have this documented. This is important for the grant, okay, what we're doing. Letting them know what we are doing. We're being transparent, we're being open, and we're doing a grant differently from what most grants are done, so everybody can see it. So, thank you.